Let's see how this goes. Oh. Hey, Neko. Oh, you want to be a part of this too? Alright, wish me luck, buddy. Hello, everyone. This is Ofrutra. So, Dragon Ball Super recently finished up its English language run on Toonami here in America. Recently, I wrote this script 4 months ago. Neko, why am I so bad at this? And I finally got to see it. Now, I grew up on the English version, so even though I had access to the Japanese version while it was simulcasting, I waited for the broadcast over here in the States. Now, one thing I want to say up front is that this franchise is pretty much my favorite thing and always has been. I've been watching ever since Z started on Toonami over here, and it's one of those things I've been into for so long, I don't remember getting into it. It's just one of those things that's always been there, you know? So, now that I finally caught up to the rest of the world, what did I think of the new series? Let me try to explain. Dragon Ball Super absolutely had some good ideas going on. A few of the arcs had really cool ideas, it had some good character development, and bizarrely enough, it had some of the best filler in anime history. Ow. Oh. Alright then. I guess we're done with that. Thanks, buddy. But ultimately, I just feel like most of it was kind of bad, and not a great direction for the franchise to go in. There was the obvious stuff from the start of the show. Remaking the movies was a bad idea by almost all accounts, and the production was plagued from the word go. But it wasn't just that. I personally disliked most of the key events in the story, and could just never get invested in it the way I wanted to. Much to the dismay of the people around me. I didn't have much of an outlet to complain about it except to my friends and family. I feel sorry for them. Until one day when I was working my tedious manual labor job, and I just asked myself, "Alright, Your Highness, you're so clever, what would you have done differently?" And for some reason, I couldn't get that question out of my head. For the next 3 weeks, it was like my brain was in autopilot. I was looking at everything about Super I didn't like and asked myself, why? Luckily, my job is very repetitive, so honestly, it was a welcome outlet to pass the time. I tried organizing my thoughts in a way that I hadn't done before, mainly by picking out problems I had at a macro level. You know, big picture decisions that affect everything in the show. Then I thought to myself, what would I have done to change them in a way that I would find more appealing? If you haven't noticed yet, this is going to be a very selfish project. I managed to pick out the 3 biggest parts of the show that drove me crazy and kept me from loving the experience. Then I thought, how would these changes have affected the run of the show as it was being made? What I want to do in this video is try to explain what those changes are and why I think they would have made for a more enjoyable show. Then in subsequent videos that I plan to make, we'll be taking a sort of what-if look at what the show may have looked like had these changes taken place. With that said, here's what I came up with. Big change number 1. The Super Saiyan God form stays as the ultimate Saiyan transformation. I really can't overstate how much I loved Battle of Gods, and I think this form was a big part of why. I just dug everything about it. It was such a cool subversion of the usual tropes of the series, having a much more subtle debut and slimming Goku down instead, which looked amazing. And of course, Goku's reaction to getting the power was legitimately fascinating, showing us an introspective look into the character we don't usually get. His frustration in gaining a power that he can't obtain on his own, it was interesting, and it seemed like it was setting up a new journey for the character. And then they threw all of it away in the very next movie, before the series was confirmed. I really didn't like the blue form. All of the intrigue of the God form was undermined for marketing. It was a new form that surpassed the last one, had no background or foreshadowing, and was obtained off-screen by Goku and Vegeta through training. I guess that story for Goku was over before I knew it. Big change number 2. The role of the Omni King does not exist. This one may sound a little ridiculous, but something about the Omni King always rubbed me the wrong way. And it's not just because of Zeno. I can appreciate the very Toriyama sense of humor that would make the Lord of Everything a toddler. It's funny. The problem with Zeno is that the animation and dialogue just got so repetitive around him. It just got annoying before long. But beyond Zeno, I don't even like the role that he fills. Dragon Ball Z's polytheistic world was always so cool to me, if a bit ill-defined. Guardians, Kais, Grand Kais, Supreme Kais, then we got the Gods of Destructions, and it was neat. And then we got the bombshell about the other universes. The potential for divine shenanigans were almost limitless. And we got a taste of that with the tournament between universes 6 and 7. But then it just kind of went away. Maybe I'm unreasonable, but a part of that magic just feels lost to me when there's one boss in charge that everyone has to kowtow to. Zamasu managed to stir things up in a big way, yes, but it was all over when the Omni King decided it was. I don't know, I just think it takes something away from the world we had, you know? And big change number 3, completely rework the handling of Gohan and Videl. This one is as personal as it gets, but these two have always been my favorite characters in the series. Now this might sound a bit hyperbolic, but I think that the way they were written in Super was literally the worst possible outcome for them both, and in a way that a lot of us were afraid would happen. Gohan was put through the exact same character arc as he went through last time. In times of peace, he slacked off on his training to focus on academics and his new family. Then, when the Earth is threatened again, he finds himself unable to stop it and is left helpless. Whereupon he commits himself to becoming stronger, goes away to train, and comes back ready for the fights. And loses in the end. If that sounds familiar to you, congratulations! Get yourself a drink, because you remember the Buu Saga. Now drink it to try and forget about GT. Oh god, every time. Hope that gets at least one laugh. But they couldn't even commit to that. His role in the story changes a good 3 times through the run of the show, and it just feels inconsistent. Check it. He decides to train again after Frieza invades, and during the tournament with Champa, we see that he is indeed training with Piccolo, and only doesn't attend because of a conference. Fine. But then when Trunks comes back, Gohan is shown to be looking lazy again, and Piccolo acts like he hasn't been training at all. Did they forget? Fast forward to the exhibition match with the Zenos, and Gohan tells Goku that he's stronger than he's ever been. When did that happen? Apparently it didn't, because immediately after that, he goes back to finish his training with Piccolo. It got annoying, and it felt insulting. Indecision from the writing staff and Toriyama himself have always plagued Gohan, and I really feel like it came to a head in Super. And then there's Videl. Where do you even start? Despite appearing so late in the series, she quickly became a standout character, being pretty much the first girl with the ambition of being a fighter. Yeah, Chi-Chi was also a martial artist, but her main goal in life was having a family. She had spent her whole life training and was practically one of the strongest people on Earth, were it not for the main cast crushing planets with their fingers. And when she learned about these crazy powers, she wasn't afraid of them like her father was. She wanted in on it. She managed to, convince Gohan to teach her about ki and how to fly. Honestly, those are some of my favorite of DBZ's more mellow episodes. My point is, Videl was just cool. She had the same desire to grow and get stronger as everyone else in the cast, but she was also a girl doing it. And yes, that mattered, especially for a show like this. Shame Toriyama didn't want to do that! All because of Cronenberg Caillou over here, Videl is nearly pummeled to death and never fights again! Why? Why? Was it making a statement? Was it because she's a girl? None of the other characters had that happen. They all take beatings every day and almost never give up martial arts. The Saiyans even get stronger every time it happens. Krillin has been killed by a wider variety of things than anyone in the universe, and even through Super, he always turns up to the battle. I'm sorry, but I can only think of one distinction between Krillin and Videl that would make an author like Toriyama decide that one of them can take the damage and keep coming back to the fight, but the other one learns their limits and gives up on their dreams. Okay, pull it back a little bit. I don't just want these videos to be hate-spewing rants. You can see those anywhere else, and I want to try and be more constructive than that. But it is a passion project, and this is a part that I'm passionate about, and I just wanted to see it done better. So, that's what I'm trying to do. Anyway, that's pretty much my thesis on why I'm doing these videos. With any luck, maybe you found it intriguing, or at the very least, maybe I made you laugh a few times. If you're interested to see where this goes, please stay tuned. Next, we're going to be going through the entire series and asking how these changes would have affected it along the way, starting with the movies and their recaps. You know how it goes. Please like the video and leave a comment if you enjoyed it so that others may find it, and subscribe if you want to see more. I cannot wait to keep this going. Thank you all so much, and take care.